This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
Hi, this is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, and that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Thanks.
Hey, folks. Welcome to this week's edition of One Nation Radio. I'm Rich Latta. Here we have, with me, I have Rich Latta. I said I'm Rich Latta, didn't I? I just said I'm Rich Latta. We're not cutting this. We're not. I'm not starting it over. So, yeah, my mistake. I am not Rich Latta. I am James Boyd. Here we have, I have Rich Latta with me. Rich, would you like to say you're James Boyd to make it even? You want to go botch for botch?
I'm James Boyd.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm James Boyd.
Yeah. Anyway, what's going on, Rich?
Not much, man. Just, here for another great show. Getting stronger and stronger, in the dojo and, making these gains and feeling good. How about you, man?
Not much. I'm flustered because I'm watching Draymond and Dylan Brooks go band for band on just dirty play. Like I can't believe this first time I've ever seen this. 2 notoriously dirty players doing dirty things on the same exact play, and then they see them hurting each other's teammates, and then they start getting into a shoving contest that then they have to break up. Get both of them out of my sport. I'm tired of it.
This is a heel versus heel match. This is what they would call a mean guy match in the old days.
This would be some shit I call turn the channel. Actually, yeah, you're right. It's a mean guy match. This is you might need to bring your gun to the arena, given how much fans hate these two. Anyway, shout out to Velkez
live in the chat. Came to see the Tim Nakano pack smoked live. First time. Usually the time zone gets him messed up, but he is in Nihon, apparently.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So it's morning. Yeah, it's morning. Okay, that's right. I forgot. Hey, Velkez, how long you gonna be here for? Let us know in the thing, and we'll mention it. I know you're gonna be there for a minute or whatever, but yeah. But yeah, man. Where do you want to start, Rich?
I guess how about one of the biggest shows in women's wrestling history?
Oh yeah, there's that. Okay, Rich.
It's been a while. I guess I gotta hit the music. Stardom, All-Star, Grand Queendom, or one of those names.
No, that's it.
I believe
that's it.
Okay, that was it. Okay.
Yeah, All-Star Grand Queendom is the one they do in the spring with, Yokohama Arena, and then the annual one they do at Sumo Hall is Dream Queendom. Yeah. It's always going to have some Queendom at the end of it. But yeah, that's where it is. So yeah, man, general thoughts on the show. So they just ejected, we'll forget that. We'll get to that. We'll get to it. But general thoughts on the show.
So it was almost like a, kind of a drop in. I've been kind of, spotty at best in my Stardom viewership. So I was coming back and it just feels like a lot has happened, and it felt like I got to see a lot of new players kind of step into getting booked in bigger spots, which is cool. And everything at the top was super, and the undercard, from the future Stardom title match on, just a lot of well-worked stuff and interesting stuff that's on the show to look at. I just pop up. I had no idea Meiko Satomura was on the card till, She just came out. I was like, what is she doing here? And then I got to see Yumiko Hoda, and I texted James a bunch of jokes, including one of them that I discovered the third style of gear maker in Joshi for Yumiko Hoda. I'll get there when we get there. Tekla, going belt to ass on Toru Okada was pretty funny. And even I love the stuff in the middle of the show. This is top to bottom. This is a really great show, man.
Yeah. I mean, we'll go through it, but this is one of the great shows of all time. To me, this was better than their Grand Queendom from 2 years ago, which is also one of the great shows of all time. The last 6 matches all go 4 stars. And then the last 3 are like 4.5 or higher. We'll get into the individual ratings as we go. But yeah, man, this show was incredible. Pre-show Rumble. It's pre-show Rumble and Stardom. It's goofy.
Before you do that.
Sorry?
Before you do that, they talk about the business.
Oh, yeah. 7,500 people in attendance. 2,000 more than Stardom's highest attendance ever. Which was All-Star Grand Queendom 2 years ago. It's same arena 2 years later after losing 2 of their 6 biggest stars. They sell 2,000 more tickets. Really shows the drawing power of the commitment to like pushing the newer stars, putting Starlight Kid in the white belt situation, like pushing the Neo Genesis thing to the forefront, and the turn with Suzuki leaving out, and also like shows like the power of like Saya Kamatani and Tam Nakano over the past 5 months, and the retirement. It was basically a retirement match without all the wacky stuff, but basically like by the end of it, Tam Nakano's not coming back; she's done. But yeah, man, I mean, and you look, people will talk about the Tam Nakano attendance record, or drawing record, or whatever else, and we'll get to that after. But yeah, man, I think as somebody that did I say 10K? I could have swore I said 7,500.
I think he was responding to somebody in the comments.
Okay, all right. As usual, I gotta ignore Velcage. But yeah,
Velcage was right.
Just a gigantic show. And they more lived up to it, and they keep trucking. It's going to be this is like the most newsworthy Stardom show I can remember, given the fallout in the aftermath of it. But we'll get to that too. But yeah, as we go through the matches. But yeah, pre-show match, Battle Royal, Stardom Rumble. You've seen one Rumble. You've seen one in Stardom.
There's the only one. That's the only thing I didn't see.
It was on the pre-show, so it didn't matter. Or not, it didn't matter that much. But like, wacky stuff at the end, Hanako wins. And Hanako announces she's the next challenger for the white belt, whoever wins between later night between Izumi and Starlight Kid. So then we get to the start of the show. You end up getting a futures match. You get Rani Yagami challenging, I think for her second time versus Rina. And yeah, I mean, solid match as usual.
Hina.
Yeah, you had mentioned something about Rina because you haven't really seen her in a while, but yeah.
Or Hina.
I said Hina. Yes, Rina gets her ass whooped by Hoda later. But yeah, Hina. So you say you hadn't seen Hina in a minute. So what were your thoughts on, like, I guess since the last time you seen her, like her improvement?
Like before, they was kind of like wrestling like big kids or whatever, and in this one it just felt like a more kind of structured, more grown up kind of match that she was like having with what was her name? Rana Yagami.
Yeah.
I thought for the Futures belt has a pretty high standard historically. Thinking back to when Utami had it, and then one of the reigns that I liked. Of recent vintage with it was, of course, the hand-in matches. I felt like this held up to any of those. Yeah.
By the end, like, and this is they're telling the story of Rana getting close to it, and eventually it's going to be hers, and she has a new set of rookies, for her to whenever she gets it to basically beat their asses at how they're beating her ass. But I really like her. And, I haven't seen her as much as I have seen other rookies in past Stardom runs. But, like, every time I see her, she comes to play. And especially in these future future matches. So I expect her to do well with it. Like, I'm not, because her styles are totally different, but like she kind of gives me like Saya Ida energy, whereas like she has something there. I don't know if she's ever gonna get any kind of real push, but if she ever gets any kind of push and ever gets any kind of belt, you'll feel very satisfied that she gets it. That sort of thing. I don't think she's nearly as much of a, you know, what do you call it? A doormat as Ida was star now, but it's kind of the vibes. I kind of get those vibes of just like, there's a lot of heart and a lot of trying hard, and like eventually like it'll pay off, I think, or I hope anyway. So yeah, Hina retains, and we move on to the next match. We have a special singles match. We have Sayaka. We have Sayaka versus Tekla, and the stipulation of this match is if Tekla wins, she gets a match versus Tara Okada, the Booker, CEO, whatever you want to call it, of Stardom. And if Sayaka wins, Tekla will be forced to join Cosmic Angels. And for those that don't know, Tekla is the exact opposite of Cosmic Angels in aesthetics and also in faction. Like, Cosmic Angels is a babyface, bubbly faction, a lot of like kind of like Barbie girls, and then Tekla is in a group called Hate. They are just evils. They're flat out delinquents. They're terrorists.
Section.
They're terrorists. Yes, the thug section, as you said. Yeah, and Tekla also has huge smoke with Natsupoi, who they back in the day were once in a faction together, or Natsupoi left and caused a whole. Bro, Draymond just put his feet on somebody.
Jesus Christ!
All right. Anyway,
Tekla.
Yeah, Tekla. So. Tekla has huge heat with Natsupoi from Natsupoi basically abandoning Dado Mondo back in 2022. So she's hated her and that entire faction ever since then. So match starts, and like it's okay. Like obviously there's only a certain level that in my opinion that Saya can get to at this point, but she's trying hard. And there's a lot of storyline ties in between, like the belief that in the tie-ins of the main event between like whether or not her allegiances between Tam Nakano and she was going to turn to the dark side and join Hate with Saya Kamatani over the past few months. So as she has consistently said, I'm going to stay in Cosmic Angels, like it has given her a bit of a sentimental fan favorite appeal to her, right? It gave her something opposed to being like, oh, she's plucky babyface number 5. So Tekla basically takes most of this match, and at the end Sayaka wins. And Tekla's just like, I can't believe it. Like a shocked face, crowd pops huge for it. And then Taro Okada gets on the mic and starts talking that cash, saying, oh yeah, you know, all this stuff of you beating up all of our staff members and this stuff, and the suspensions that I had to give you, and you know, talk with the potty mouth. You gotta join Cosmic Angels. How about it? So Tekla says, no.
He wasn't speaking a word of English. I know everything he said.
Yeah. Don't become, yeah. He's like, you know, just read on the riot act, and he heard Cosmic Angels. I was like, oh, I know. Oh. So the crowd's loving it. Tekla's losing her mind. Tekla begins to start beating up Cosmic Angels instead of seconding Sayaka at ringside. Then eventually goes to ringside at the table, grabs Toro Okada, starts whooping him, bringing him towards the ring. As he's bringing her to the ring, she starts whooping more of the Cosmic Angels, whoops Sayaka some more, throws him into the ring, takes off her belt, start literally putting belt to ass on Toro Okada in Yokohama Arena for what will be an all-time GIF meme. And if not, I will be doing it and using it soon. I will be creating it if it's not being used yet. Man.
Toro Okada better not fuck up. He better not fuck up. The second he does, that shit is going on the timeline.
Just like the NBA superstar memes. You fuck up, they on your ass. Like Jamal Murray better not ever have a bad playoff game. Otherwise, they're going to show that one nigga, right? You know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to get into it. They're going to show that one nigga. Jason Tatum better not ever have no playoff games. Otherwise, they're going to show that one nigga. They always show him. Toro Okada, you better not book this into oblivion ever again. Because if you rot yourself, you pick yourself up a river with no paddle, we going to be on your ass getting belt the ass from Tekla again. And I'm going to add him too. I'm going to add him in the tweet. So he don't speak a lick of English. Let him know. Someone subtitle this. You better not fuck up. I'm going to be on your ass. So anyway, they break him up and everything, and then eventually Toru Okada does smart things that Mr. McMahon in WWE never did. He just said, you know what? Enough of this. You're fired. You're fired. Go away. You're removed. Get out my face. Cancel.
Yep. Leave the country.
Yeah, out of here. Revoke the visa.
Yeah.
So,
banner like Kenny Omega.
So yeah. That ends up happening. She said, "You can't fire me." She's losing it or whatever. They basically take her off and banish her off to the shadow realm, never to be seen again. Unceremoniously sent away. In a much way,
fire me. I'm already fired.
Yeah, in a much way, I'm sure she already liked it. And the word is, she's done. She's wrapped up officially in Stardom. This is her send off. And the word is she's coming stateside. We don't know where yet. But Rich, you had a point or a hunch based off of what you saw on the show. So what was it again?
Well, look, there's nothing guaranteed here, but
right.
Usually when people are going to WWE, they're not doing no job, and then James added on to that, they're not doing no jobs. No young girl, essentially. She already was working with Athena earlier this year. Mercedes posted on the story today. Tekla has been talked about in AEW offices for 2 years at this point. I want to say maybe. So, I would be quite shocked if she decided to go live in the warehouse or whatever. I don't know how
have the warehouse Tekla anymore.
The PC, yeah.
Oh, it's still around? I thought they got rid of it. Or they moved it to Vegas.
That whole thing hasn't played out yet, but they're still in Orlando.
Okay.
I'm hearing Tony Storm has an open challenge on Wednesday. Well, look at that. That would be amazing timing. She does date Clark Connors. I don't know how that will affect anything as far as what companies she may or may not go to. But I think there's a lot of misinformation kind of about Tekla that's out there. As far as I see a lot of people slandering her, like she's not real. Like when they tell her to be real,
yeah,
people have confused the gimmick and whatever. And I'm here to clear it up.
And there's also the part where it's the angle she did. That's more American pro wrestling than Japanese pro wrestling. And then you get this out of here. So there's also some of that. And look, a misfire is a misfire based off of you work for your fans domestically or in the crowds, right? So if it's, so that's a mistake, right? Or that's a choice. That's a choice. It didn't hit the way that she thought it was going to hit, in that way. But like you mentioned, when she first started in her first couple years in in Stardom, as a tag wrestler, as the SWA champion, she was really good in the role. And then basically after Mayu took the SWA, they retired it and basically replaced it with the IWGP Women's title. She hasn't really. They basically just left her at a certain spot. She's going to be in tags with Natsupoi, and then after that, she's going to be a person. She's going to be tagging with the base kind of Pin Eater in Tag League with Julie and that sort of thing. So yeah, I was hoping for a little bit more with her. Once Julie was gone and they moved her to Hate, but that didn't happen. And
they are going to have roles to fill in NXT as well. I don't want to not mention that because they did do some call-ups as well. So it really could go either way. It just feels like,
Yeah. I mean,
if I had to lay $1 down on it, I would bet AEW, but I don't know.
Because you also did I mention this? Mina Shirakawa is now on ROH. Mina and Tekla, they had a pretty successful homoerotic feud in 2022. So they had that. They could definitely do that. Mina's very good at the homoeroticism in AEW in Tony Khan Professional Wrestling. There's that, and on the other end, there's Julia. There's a Julia factor when it comes to Stardom and through the Ice Ribbon stuff to Stardom to NXT. That'll make a lot of sense too. I think both places will want her. I think realistically, if she wanted a place where she actually really gets a shot, I think the place most likely for her to get that shot would be AEW, given it her size and her aesthetic and her look. I think that is something that screams more of the Tunnel Talkers would love her. right? Like I think she would be big in the Sapphic community. Now, so I think that so it depends. Like, you know, as you mentioned, Tony Storm would challenge Tony Storm, Tekla. Boy, they might as well put their bun on the sensors right now. but yeah, wherever she ends up, I think she'll do well. Because she definitely has the talent for American pro wrestling. It's just if it's a situation where it's like a long-term future for success, I think she's probably better set up if it were AEW. I think they find better use of her than, you know, having to basically be a coaching trainer while she's in NXT if she were to do that. So, you know, whatever she decides. But I'm, you know, I won't say I'm going to miss her. Like, she was really fun for a time. I know the mileage varied on her definitely, but I think her good stuff outweighed her bad, definitely.
Yeah, because like people on the timeline are asking about her, and then like all they're seeing is the slender or whatever. I'm like, brother, it like wherever she goes, give her a chance to do her thing, and then I would say people decide from there. Yeah,
and like she will modulate, because when she first came in, she was very, very over the top wacky with charisma, and then she eventually dialed it down to a point where it's like, all right, she's actually a person and not necessarily like feels like she's animated, like she's not like a cartoon character. She turned it down. So yeah, so she will adjust. She will make adjustments as she goes wherever she is. So I wish her the best. So moving on from there, we then get to, I believe, the 6-woman tag match. You have I think is it Cosmic Angels versus basically Team Sinjo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you end up getting Meiko Satomura, Mika Iwata, and was it Manami?
Yuna.
I don't think it was Manami. But on the other end, you have Cosmic Angel side, you have
someone named Yuna.
Yes. And this is where like the show basically picks up as far as like you had the high quality rookie match, you had the 2 matches before that.
We skipped Yumiko Hoda versus Rina.
Oh, yes, we did. And there's a reason for that. So, Rina versus Yumiko Hoda is basically...
I saw this person, and I immediately knew that Niagara Driver hated her. I saw another... I heard the bell ring. I was like, oh, no. So I've never seen Hoda before. Okay. But I got the vibe that I would be getting some messages about her eventually.
Yeah. So, as I mentioned to you, Hoda is like, does the shit that like Niagara Driver likes to pretend that, and JD like to pretend from Red Leaf Retro Class likes to pretend that Naya actually does. Like, nah, she does. She has really good matches still. Obviously, like Nana's younger, but like still has really good matches. Bumps, does jobs. Hoda won a 5v1 in this match. Like, Hey came out there, helped Rina. Rina in Limited match, you know, she's still on her, you know, fuck everything older than 2004. Anything before me, I don't give a fuck about it. Right? She's on that.
And Edwards.
Yeah, basically. She's like, newer is better, always. So she's like, I'm facing this old legend, and man,
yo, she was striking her in the face with an object, and Hoda was just no selling that shit. That shit was hilarious.
Yes. She was looking like it was like when people shoot Superman with a gun. It's like, oh, and it just bounce off him. He's like, oh, I'm impervious to pain. It's like that's exactly what happened. They ganged up on her, and she was like, not a scratch, nothing, unscathed. And then she proceeded to, you know, just take everything from Rina. I think she may have taken one bump, and then she won, and that was the end of it. And yeah, like these are the matches that people that like, you know, that they're weary of the old time carnies. Like the Joshi carnies are different from the Puro carnies in Noah, or even like Jeff Jarrett. Like Jeff Jarrett will bump, right? He'll bump on concrete. He bumped on concrete in that battle in that match with Danielson, right? He took a suplex. He took a vertical suplex on concrete. Hoda ain't taking no vertical suplex on concrete. She ain't doing none of that. No,
so I saw her, and then I looked at the gear, and I was like, oh, this is definitely like, you know, a different kind of style. So immediately I was struck. You know, I always talk about the good gear maker, and then when you turn evil, you got to go to the evil gear maker.
Yeah.
But in Hoda's case, she's obviously evil, but it's a slightly like the evil gear maker don't handle that, specific cut, for her. So what there is a third gear maker that I had discovered. This is the elder wrestler keep the mobility gear on. So like obviously she's not gonna wear white or the bright colors with the sequins and like the tails and all the other stuff, right? And she's not wearing the dark one with the tassels and basically the dark version of that. We need something else. We got to cover it all up. We got to keep it all together, but got to be able to move a little bit still. And that's where this one comes in. And I feel like I seen Yoshiko a few years in something similar.
Yoshiko just wore the jumpsuit. And that's the thing. Okay. Yoshiko's younger than Mayu, right? Yoshiko was born like after 93, right? And she still wore the jumpsuit just because, like, that's just that, thugs wear jumpsuits. But there is definitely something to like the former Hoss Joshi wrestler from the 80s or 90s that still goes, and like they basically just cover head to toe. You might see some bicep. Outside that, you ain't seeing nothing else. Everything's covered. And the thing about the Hoda gear is Hoda been wearing the same gear since ever since I first saw her in this era, and that was just the pandemic, right? She was in Sealand wearing the same exact gear, right? And when I first saw the gear, I was like, oh, this is like the shit Shawn Michaels, like the cross shit Shawn Michaels was wearing before he retired before WrestleMania 25. Like this. You Hoda and Shawn Michaels have the same gear maker, and now you talking about, oh, this is some full, some third gear maker for the Joshis. I'm like, I never even thought about that, but yeah, maybe Shawn Michaels is getting his shit from Nihon. I don't know.
AB.
Yeah. So yeah, man. This match sucked. Like into it. I saw John from Makase gave it 2 3/4 while I was in the Discord watching it live. I was like, John, no, just no. I know you like stuff like this, but no. But yeah, I mean, it was below average match, and we just move on. So we actually get to where the show actually really picks up and never lets go. Is the Cosmic Angels versus basically Team Shinjo match that we actually skipped to at first. And yeah, man, like Natsupoi ended up getting hurt. She rolled an ankle or something like that in the middle of the match. So basically like Ano and I'm forgetting who the third was. It might have been Ayasakura. I can't remember. But I can't remember who it was, but they basically took over from that point. And I thought like even with the injury and everything, like they did a really good job. And I thought Mako still, you sure you want to retire? How bad you really feeling? She's still, it's amazing, bro. She debuted
the kicks
in the
was
90s.
still sounding
awesome.
off.
Say again?
The kicks was still sounding off. She was still moving around. One thing I realized about this match, James, and, this show, I'm to give it up, man. Since, now we'll spoil, this a little bit, but the retirement of Tam Nakano, that's point not a slave no more. So
a slave? I'm
not a slave no more.
I'm trying to figure out what you mean by slave. Like, it's not exactly the Big Show or
she don't work for the man no more.
For the man.
So I hereby am ending the beef with Natsupoi.
Boy, that's crazy.
Be all you can be now, Matt Natsupoi.
That's crazy. I used to. Now, for those that don't have any track on like the Rich Lotta Natsupoi like timeline, Natsupoi showed up in Stardom. He immediately loved her, always loved her from when she showed up in 2020 up until she left. She left Donna D'Amato and joined Cosmic Angels in 2022, and then hated her. Now that Tam Nakano's retiring, she's still gonna be in Cosmic Angels, but Rich is now like let that go. So you know what that really means, y'all. This man has been a Tam Nakano hater for 6 years. He's never dropped the mask on it, but we've always known for those that have been following this. So we move on from there. The match was really good. They pinned
I just saw more for her. I hated the way DDM was ended. I hated it.
They weren't in it. They lasted another year. You just stopped watching.
look, they gone, I'm gone. Like,
oh man. So, next match after that, you have Suzuki in a grudge match versus Mei Sierra after Suzu left out of Neo Genesis to start her own thing. I think it's called something Loca. It's damn near La Vida Loca. But it definitely is Loca in the name of it. And she's basically has basically outsourced her group. It's like it's Rina Yamashita and Asuki Aoki, people that you normally regulars on Seedling back in the day, or maybe even still now. Asuki, she's okay. Some people, she's very polarizing because of her style, and I think also her look, but she's okay. Rina, she's a good big match wrestler. And I forgot who the fourth person is, but yeah.
Is that the chick from GC that works those GCW shows?
Yes, that blades and has the braids. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's Rina Yamashita. Yeah. So Rina, Julia got to start doing the hairstyle because of Rina, by the way. I don't know if you knew that. So yeah, this match starts and man, they end up on the outside and Susan gets blood and she gets big juice. It's very good. Very good. Obviously outside of Stardom, she's known for bleeding in deathmatch shit with prominent stuff she was doing before she moved on to Ice Ribbon. But, and even in Ice Ribbon before she left. But, like, this was a big blade job at the beginning. And then, there's a chair shot from, Suzu to May, and May then bleeds. And then from there, they get in the ring and basically have a high-speed finish that was awesome while covered in blood, and it was great. This shit was great.
Yes, I was watching this, I was like, this is for me. I was like, bro, they out here did the double juice, and then they were like, fuck that, we gonna be athletic and fly around anyway. I loved it. I know people probably looked at this and they were like, I'm confused.
No, everyone loved this, Rich. Everyone loved this.
Yeah. I thought this was sensational.
Yeah, 4.25 easy. This was a blast.
I might even go higher than that. I might go to 4 or 5 on that. I think, like, yeah, man, like this was like, like these are like a different style than even the junior style that like Natsupoi and like people like Tekla and Azumi and Starlight Kid. This is like a different chapter of it or whatever. Ever since I saw what's her name, Mei Sierra, I knew she was real. Like, and this was like, oh yeah, like, yeah. I think this was this was great, man. Like, it's really hard to like even say more than that, just because like it was so unique. Like, you would not really see a match like this in any promotion, I don't really think, because everyone would have the pressure of trying to act like they're dying through the blood and, stuff like that. And agents telling them that, hey, this is what you need to do when you get blood and stuff like that. That's why I enjoyed it. They just threw the book out, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of like, Suzu's always great with closing stretch. Always. Like, even her match that she had, in the context of like the story, she's always gonna have a killer closing stretch. And like, you go back to her title challenge versus Kamatani at the beginning of the year, like that had the hate interference at the beginning of it. And then once they got that shit out the way, you got the Kamatani Suzuki closing stretch that you want, and that match is killer match too. So she's just people have making these about her appearance now that she's put on some weight, and is like, who gives a shit? She still wrestles how she's always wrestled. She still moves how she always moves. She still has the same, nothing's changed except her appearance. And apparently it's because, and like, it's none of our business, but like, apparently it's due to medication or whatever else that she's mentioning it. So it's like, who gives a fuck? And also double, who gives a fuck? She's on medication for it. So like, whatever. Like, she's still great. She's still fucking awesome. Like, I think this is, after, when she first got here, she was in this unaffiliated thing and this tag thing with Mei Sierra for so long, then did the Neo Genesis thing. Now she has her own faction, Outsiders. Like, they're actually, and now there's such a complete, like, talent power vacuum. I think this is now her first real shot to actually like get a chance to go up the card, and besides just be a title challenger, be like a main eventer in Stardom now. She clearly has
and everybody
to be a main
else
eventer in Stardom, at this point.
Yeah,
And like
you mentioned people making fun of her. They can use all the stuff they normally would say. They can say low center of gravity. They can say all the little cliches or whatever to describe somebody that's powerful or someone. But the thing is, like her speed hasn't dropped off like
at all
whatsoever. So
her movement, nothing's
like,
changed.
Yeah, it's very unique. So I think she'll have to eventually like figure out. Does she want to be like when she wrestles someone like Micah again, or even I don't know? The promotion's cleared out so much, as you mentioned,
right?
People might have to adjust to her.
Look, when she was a champion, when she was a top champion, Ice Ribbon, her matches went off. I didn't love them as much as I loved the Maya Yuki matches because that was my favorite Ice Ribber at the time, but they were still high quality. So it's like. And you got to keep in mind with her, she's the same age as May, as Sierra, and Azumi. Like, they're all 23. Or they all turned 23 this year. So it's like, that's the future. It's the Neo Genesis Core 4. And if you want to throw in Amasaki, if she gets to those 4's level, you have that. You still have Kamatani. You still have, you have Micah, who, in the eyes of the fans, they love her. She is a top star because of her reign, everything in the last year. Like, they still have people there to still have high quality matches. It's just so many of the the tippy top is gone and cleared out, but there's plenty of depth still. So yeah, like I'm interested to see how she takes advantage of this new opportunity for her, because this was a year ago, I didn't think this was in the cards for her. Now I think it's there for her to actually be a red belt champion in Stardom, now. Move on from there, you have Chihiro Hashimoto, special singles match, Micah versus Chihiro Hashimoto, and man, for those of y'all, mileage may vary, right? For those that liked or even loved Chris Statlander versus Jamie Hayter on Wednesday, if you like that, you'll love this. And if you love that, you'll marry this. Big hoss fighting. Big nigga fight time. All that.
This is a barroom brawl where both of them looked at each other in the eye afterwards, shook their hand, and poured beers together, especially in Micah's case.
Yeah. Well, remember, for the last couple of years, every so often they sell those Micah 40 ounces over there with her face on. I don't know if you knew that. They be selling them bottles of alcohol with her Micah face on them.
That's great. I would definitely buy one if I ever went there and try to get it signed.
Yeah. So man, like, they just throwing bombs at each other, and like it don't start off like that. It's because these two are, big Haas, like, she has a background in wrestling, and then obviously Mike with the being a judoka, like, they start with technical wrestling, and then it turns into just throws and just clobber each other. There was a point where it started turning into Chihiro starts hitting her with these cross bridges, just boom, 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 and then like Micah just started answering back with close fist punches. Big close fist punches like the Julia joints, and like I was just literally just on like The Rock, just losing it at like, I don't know, was it 3 a.m? Yeah, it was great. By the end, Hashimoto ends up getting the win, and I guess Rich, you have a rating on this. I am giving this 4 1/4. I love this match.
I just go 4.
Yeah, man, just the never open weight wrestling. Just, it always works.
Every time I see Chihiro Hashimoto, it's just a good time.
Yeah.
She never misses.
She's one of the best. She's one of the best, and she's just in Shinjo. And I don't know if you heard it on. So you had the Japanese copy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so on the English commentary, Walker, he mentioned that she's a 6-time champion, and then mentioned how, like, this belt is the Shinjo's top title is defined by either Meiko Satomura or Chihiro Hashimoto. I was like, yeah, because it's always, basically the years for all these years have been like, Hashimoto is the champion coming into the year, she loses somebody, and then she gets it back by the end of the year. That's kind of how it's going for, like, ever since we started watching Joshi. Like, she's just great, man. And
King of the North saying he needs Big Hash versus Mercedes. Who's getting pinned? Look, that's one thing with Big Hash. It don't really be many pinfalls in the matches.
It don't. And if it is, it's to people that she gonna get it back from eventually, or it's Shuri.
Once again,
you gotta keep my.
Talk about it with Mayu.
You know who her tag team. You know who her tag team partner is, right?
You
right. That team 200 kg. Look, they don't do.
They're not really with.
They're not really
they
for
ain't
the
really
jobs.
with the jobbing.
Not really for the jobs. And if they got to do a job, you gonna realize they ain't happy about it. They gonna make it be known they ain't happy about it, especially you. But yeah, I really enjoyed this match. And then in the press conference the day after, you end up finding out that Micah, she's finally getting surgery or work on her elbow. Rich, I don't know if you've ever realized this, but like Micah's been having that elbow taped up for years. And it's been taped up for years, and I've always noticed it. And I remember it was a point that was mentioned during Utami's her match with Utami at the end, towards the end, like November 2021. They played the video package of like she is basically on borrowed time, or she's gutting through this elbow injury, and Utami worked over that elbow, and that's the reason why she ended up winning. That was the story of that match. Because Utami or Micah that night, it appeared was the better wrestler that night, but just ultimately the elbow was her downfall. Like, it's been going on that long. Utami was champion 2021. She's been wrestling on this bad elbow since 2021 at the latest, and now she's finally getting it done. Her response, she basically said like she's been ignoring it, and now it's at a point where like it can't be ignored anymore. So she's going to be taking a long time off. We don't know how long, but she's going to be gone basically indefinitely.
Oh, hopefully she's back by the 5-star Grand Prix.
I don't think she's going to be back.
I don't know if she will.
That's the summer. That's only a couple months from now.
Yeah.
If it was only a 2-month thing, I think she would have got it done by now.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So there's that. And then next match after that, you have the tag title match. You have basically, Stars Explodes.
Stars.
You have Wing Gory, Hannon, and Saida versus FWC, Fukuoka Double Crazy, Hazuki, and Kaguma. And
the Bear.
Yeah. And the build of this match was that Hannon, the youngest, during the press conference, did this thing where she quote unquote exposed Suzuki as being like the right hand man of Bill Watts, aka Kagetsu, being a taskmaster, and talked about the advantage, or the taking advantage of wrestlers and abusing wrestlers. And Hazuki didn't respond to it. So people have had an eye out for that. Obviously the match starts where Hannon wants to wrestle Hazuki. Hazuki does not. She wants no part of it. And then they finally get into the ring together, and Hannon is exploding on her with all this ferocious like elbows and fighting spirit, and Hazuki's just no selling it. Like, you're not gonna get me mad. Nope, not doing it. I'm not gonna give you what you want. And then eventually, later in the match, Hazuki gives Hannon exactly what she wants, and she basically destroys her. She just beats the holy hell out of her. Ultimately, they end up getting Hazuki out the ring. They isolate Kaguma, and they end up beating Kaguma. And then there was friction left. There was no resolved tension between Hazuki and Hannon. Kaguma and Ida shook hands. Obviously, Ida was kind of more or less co-trained by Hazuki. But it is clear that her loyalty lies with Hannon as of this moment. They basically came up together in this way, like when they started as, tag team geeks in tag league, then became the New Blood tag champions. Now they're the actual tag champions. They just beat the greatest tag team in Stardom history, or most decorated anyway. I mean, also, I think the cage match, I'll speak for that too. And as far as match quality, and they just basically separated, and it's a lot of tension. And I know what you're going to ask. I think we'll see. But what are you going to ask? Go ahead.
I was going to say, do you think Mayu Iwatani had a clue any of this was going on?
In kayfabe in real life.
In kayfabe.
Oh, you know Mayu and kayfabe. Tam and Arissa. I don't know. That's between y'all. I don't know why each other's mad. I don't know what's happening. Even though it's clearly I'm causing this. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I don't know. Mayu likes to keep her hand clean and all this stuff. She's always hands off. She's very Kenny Omega-ish when it comes to inner turmoil between faction mates. I don't know I don't know what's going on between Cody and Kota Ibushi. I have no idea. I don't know what's happening here. It makes no sense to me. Hangman and Matt Jackson, I don't get it. I don't know what's happening. I don't see what's going on. It's very similar. It's very similar.
No, Kenny don't watch the show, so
yeah.
All that got explained.
Yeah. You think Mayu watched the show?
Mayu is not pulling the stream back up when she gets on the bus.
No, absolutely not. So yeah, it's a lot of tension in the air. We'll see what this means for the future of Stars, if there will be a Stars after we get through the next couple matches from now. We'll see, but it's an interesting thread of they're fraying, and we'll see if they sit together or they just break apart. And there's some speculation of maybe FWC, they were the Oz Academy Tag Champions within the last year. They've done freelance dates. Maybe they go freelance. Maybe they hop on the Rossi train if Mayu goes that route too. We'll see. But I thought it was a great match. I ended up giving it 4 stars flat.
It just felt like a sliding eras match. I was watching Hazuki in there and Kaguma, and it just was like, wow, they've been around for so long. And not in a way where it's like I'm tired of them or anything, but it's just like they are a standard of excellence between them. And it was just like, damn, it's like, is Hazuki ever gonna get are you ever gonna give her one of these singles belts one day? It would be so cool.
It would be.
She slid into that kind of area because just the more the faces change, if you've been around a while, it's like, all right, why not you?
Yeah. I mean, and also Stardom in New Japan, they've done that, and it's been very rewarding to see people like Zack Sabre Jr. or Micah or Goto get these belts at a certain point after they've been more than talented enough to do it. They just seem like it was past their point where it ever happened, and it finally happens, and it feels rewarding. It would be nice to see someone like Hazuki be White Belt champion. I've wanted to see that since 2019. But we'll see if she's still with the company. Who knows? But I thought it was a great match. I thought that this was a great point of cementing the future in Hannon, who won Cinderella last year, got the match with Ano, unsuccessful. But they're giving another big spotlight match to be 4 from the top in the biggest show they've ever done in the tag division. They're clearly their future's hers if she wants it. She's clearly on deck. So that's another one of these future people that's even younger than the Neo Genesis 02 class. So next match after that, you have the IWGP Women's Title match, Mayu Iwatani versus Shuri in a rematch from their 1-4 match last year that I thought was the best women's match I saw all of last year, including Mayu and Suri. So they showed a video package of, Mayu being the champion, her having the belt, her trying to match the Okada defense record from the old IWGP heavyweight title, World Heavyweight title, and showed that showed her victory over Shuri, showed her victory over Suri, and then they showed Suri's at ringside doing commentary, watching the match because she wants next between whoever wins. Then you get the match, and man, this is the best match they've ever had. And that's saying something because I thought the last match I was so close to giving it 5 stars. This is just this might be Mayu's best match I've ever seen. It's so violent. They're going back and forth. The selling of the arm from all the submissions that Shuri is doing. Mayu just being just getting out of stuff, being ahead. The way they're keeping each other off balance. I thought this was the best version or best ideal match they could put together. They've had other matches that have also been great, but are just, there was something missing, or maybe it was Mayu gave Shuri too much. These last 2 matches have been perfect. The best of both worlds of them going basically bar for bar. Let's fucking do it in the middle of this ring and see who's the best. Let's beat each other's asses. And like, I thought by the end of this, like, as the stakes getting raised from like the submissions that Shuri's putting on that Mayu's escaping, from Mayu getting out of more submissions, hit crucifix bombs, to Mayu hitting the moonsault, hitting the 2-stage dragon suplex, Shuri going for her emerald flosion to her Seiyu Sakai, the one wing emerald flosion, and Mayu even kicking out of that. I think she might have been. She might be the second person to ever do it. I think one person who was Julian in the match when Julian won the belt. Maybe somebody else I'm missing, but like to now she has a mega finisher that's better than her super finisher, where now she has like the arm trap version of the one wing emerald flosion to beat her, and she wins it and she starts crying, and when you know what happens when Shuri start ugly crying. It just started bumping it up. Just so I thought this match was fucking awesome. I love this match. Man, I 5 stars. Sorry, 5 stars. I love this match. I can't wait to watch this again.
Yeah, I probably would have went 4 3/4 on this one. I love, like, don't get it twisted, I love the match. I didn't love it on that level though. Like it was Shuri versus Utami or something like that. I thought this was really great though, and it really kind of made me look at it like Mayu Iwatani has had the Mayu Iwatani Championship belt of the world for like the last
2 years. 2 years.
They were like, we're never making you the red belt champion again, but we got this other belt for you to have to essentially be, you know, in your own world, kind of. And now Shuri kind of takes that over. It's nice that Teru Okada let Shuri out of jail. It is actually doing something with her. If Shuri was having, you know, lots of spotlight matches, I think I would be a little more invested here. But, you know, now she's got the IWGP belt. Now you got to line up people for her, and hopefully they got some good opponents, because eventually, you know, with Shuri, it's like, how do you justify not putting her in the red belt picture, except that she's a little bit older? I guess that's the only thing that you could say. But this was great. This was another good one. Like, I thought that Mayu, I guess we should like kind of transition it to the news of her departing Stardom. This was like end of an era in a lot of ways. She never put over Tam Nakano. She never put over a few people.
Starlight Kid would be the one that I would really be thinking about. Like the Tam thing, when the Tam draw happened at Osaka Joe Hall, I was like, okay, so Tam just never beating her. And I don't think Tam even wants to beat her. Because, you know, obviously like Tam, or Mayu basically took Tam from where she was as a mid-carder or a prelim comedy geek to made her into a, you know, help train her into being what she became. Maybe she's just like, in my mind, I'm never beating her. Mm-hmm. Like you asked me to have this match with her and beat her, like, nah, draw. So in my mind, I was like, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as like,
Azumi beat her, like, or she beat Azumi at the Dome.
Yeah.
I think you know,
Momo's
maybe it wasn't.
Before. Shuri's beaten her before. Utami obviously has beaten her before, beat her for the red belt. Obviously, Utami's not here anymore, but like, Kamatani, I think, has beaten her before in Grand Prix before. So it's like, you know, I don't think Azuki's ever beaten her, but, you know, I don't know if Azuki's ever going to be a top star in Stardom.
Yeah. And I don't bring that up to, like, you know, throw dirt on her or anything. I just say, well, I think she left stuff on the table. So I don't know if that was intentional or not, whatever. You know, you can always call back to this stuff in the future. And I think it's kind of important to mention that Mayu Iwatani is not retiring. This is like, you know, she's gone or whatever. And, you know, various reports lead, you know, whatever. I think we all kind of think she's going to Marigold. And
Mel probably do she's going to America. And I was like, I mean, if she's going to America, she ain't going to AEW.
I don't know what Mayu Iwatani values in life. But if she's in Marigold, I think they're going to do her and Io this summer, I would imagine. And I think that, I don't know, Mayu Iwatani's career kind of goes to, it's like she's going off Broadway here, I think, in Marigold. But This is the greatest wrestler in the history of this promotion. Like the most storied person from show one. I feel like James should do this, so I'm gonna get out the way.
Yeah, I mean the entire story of the promotion, if you start from finish, like it's literally in a multi-year thing. If you were to do a synopsis, like it's the career of this woman from being a shut-in, high school dropout, runaway that ran away from home to start wrestling. Because she went to a Dragon Gate show, and then she ends up, run away from home. Has a really tragic family story or whatever else. I'm not gonna get into it right now, but leaves, wants to quit. Don't go to practice. Everyone thinks she's lazy because she doesn't want to go out there every day to get her ass beat. And then eventually shows up, and she's the last person in her graduating class, in the launch class of of Stardom, out of all the rookies, to get a win. And she goes from that to being the most decorated and the filthiest match catalog of anyone in the history of the company. To a top star from from the point of 2000, let's say 16 to now. In the 14-year history of the company, she's been the top star for a decade. She's been they call her the Stardom icon. And the one thing that was also noticeable, over the last year and change, she started calling herself the icon of women's professional wrestling, not the Stardom icon. She's been slow rolling this for a while. So she's one of only 3 people to ever hold the white belt or the red belt twice. It's Io, it's her, and it's Tam Nakano. So she won every belt there was to win. I think what do you call it? Tag champion. Well, they didn't have the future title when she was eligible to it. They didn't even have that, right? But everybody that was eligible to win, she won it. SWA champion, defunct belt now. IWGP Women's Champion won that. The red and white belts, tag champions multiple times. Trios champion multiple times. She won every belt there was to win. High speed champion. So yeah, there was no. From an accomplishment standpoint or whatever accolades, she's the most credentialed one in the history of the promotion.
Ring of Honor Women's Champion.
Oh yeah, that too. Also Ring of Honor Women's Champion. Yeah. Madison Square, Madison Square Garden.
Madison Square Mayu.
Yeah, so she's done it all there. And the word was she was very upset when they fired Rossi. She wanted out then, and she couldn't get out. So we'll see where she ends up going. A lot of people think Marigold. Meltzer is saying America. I don't know where she ends up. I just know she ain't retiring. Because there's one thing you say about Mayu Iwatani, as far as, about how smart she is or isn't, if she's a dummy, whatever. She gonna get some money. She's gonna go and get a payday somewhere.
Remember when she avoided winning this belt originally because they didn't want to pay
to leverage it with that movie. Yep, absolutely. So, and it was very, very diplomatic, amicable when they during the press conferences. Toru Okada was like, this isn't bye forever. This is bye for now, and she's always welcome back. So I could very well see her making some type of run somewhere. If it don't work the way she wants to, she'll come right back and she'll have a whole fresh set of matchups because you ain't seen these a number of years and people will have grown up. There's a Starlight Kid Mayu match or program right there. A Mayu and Hannah match right there. The 2 women she helped raise.
That's why it was like she maybe leaving stuff for down the road. Who knows?
There's always more moves. So yeah, she's in she's 32 now. Got, do whatever she wants to do. Got enough time to still, and luckily, and seems like enough health to where she can, make a run wherever she wants to make a run. Give it a couple years. If she don't like it, she can always come back and she can pick it where she left off and still be able to kill. So yeah, but yeah, happy to see what Shiri does with the IWGP title. It's been very long since we've had her, have her sustain excellence. And look, I know you mentioned the mothball thing. Hey man, sometimes you got to recharge that much power. Sometimes you got to, it ain't normal to be able to reel off matches like that every month. That's one of the greatest title run reigns ever. So sometimes you got to recovered from that, and now, it's been 2 years. It's time to get back to it.
That's it. It feels like it's been 5.
She lost at the end of she lost in December 29, 2022.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Feels like 5.
Yeah. So Zakamaki says, I'm taking Shuri over Io all time.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I would say yeah. I've seen most of Io's top stuff in Stardom, and like, just flat out, be honest with you, the era's changed. The match, there's more quality matches now. Like, you look at Io's like top quality matches over her career before she left or whatever else, and compare that to someone like, hell, even like a Julia. Julia's not as good as Io, but Julia's able to, is the era that he was able to have more high quality matches, like 4.5 star level matches. This is the era. So anyway, we can move on. The white belt, Starlight Kid versus Azumi, and basically their third high profile match of their career, where it's like some semi-main event thing on a pay-per-view, but this time it's happening in front of 7,500 people. This is the future of the promotion, and it was sandwiched between two heavy hitter matches of two people that are like basically before them going on. They're going on before they're basically their mentors, and then after this they're going after like this emotionally heavy match, and they have to find a middle ground between it. And I thought this match isn't as good as this match as it was sandwiched between, but it held its own. I gave this 4.5 stars. I thought that this was like that more mature version, a far more mature version. Is like the Rey Mysterio old version of like their high speed stuff, where it's like, okay, I'm just gonna do everything I normally do. So I'm just gonna do it slower and sell more and throw in a little thing here and there, so people will say I had a more mature match. It was like, you ultimately look at it as like, y'all just told us to wrestle slower. We're doing all the same shit, so we just wrestling slower. That's it. People
had
like
the same
it more.
thought. I was like, this is not as fast as their high speed
Not
matches,
even
and I gotta
close.
say, like the thing about Starlight Kid and Azumi I always loved was the speed.
Right.
My favorite match of theirs, even to this day, is the one where they were in that main event that one time in like the gymnasium, and it was bright in there.
The semi-main
We
event.
showed,
Because remember, Nasapuri and
no.
Kamatani went after that.
okay, yeah, it was that one, and that was out of this world. This one was just regular good for me.
Yeah. That's lets you know like how, underrated they've been for so long, where it's like, oh, they only had like a 4.5 star match, and this is like their third best match. Mm-hmm. They're gonna have, it mentions this 12 singles match on American commentary. They're gonna have more of these. They're gonna be at higher stakes, at more emotional stakes, because now this is the part where this was for the white belt and also for the official leadership of Neo Genesis. Starlight Kid wins. I thought this match was really smart as far as how they had Starlight Kid selling, who she's great at it, selling her arm in classic style against wrestling Azumi. But Starlight Kid now has, like, over the years added this leg work and slowed down Azumi, and it basically made it even, as opposed to like, it used to feel like Azumi would always just pick apart her arm. Now it's like, all right, now we both can slow each other down. And so now it's more even footing. It's like this from the high speed series on to their careers, where they now are basically equals. But Starlight Kid got the win here. There'll be more matches, but like, this was like the happy ending part of the show, where it's like, all right, we've already gone through.
It was?
Yeah, well, I'm saying, like, as far as like where we are, not in the show, but like as far as Stardom in Neo Genesis, where it's like, all right, this could have frayed us, but like I have it right now. We'll get back to this or whatever else. We'll have another match eventually, but like, we're together, we're united, or not, we're reunited, our bond is strong, as opposed to like what happened with Suzu. So, I ended up giving this 4.5. I love this match, but obviously I don't love it as much as their two high speed matches, because those are, those are the things you show people to be like, hey man, this is almost like a human achievement that like they have that kind of gas to be able to wrestle at that pace for that long. Like we didn't know humans could do this sort of thing. There. Yeah, I'm with you too. Like those matches, like that first match is bordering on 5. Like I have no problem with someone giving that 5 stars. That first match. And then the main event, The red belt match, also loser must retire from pro wrestling match. Saya Kamatani versus Tam Nakano. Video package for this is fucking awesome. I would say to the various people that will be feuding with Malachi / Aleister Black in the future, eat your heart out when it comes to this white and black symbolism. You're never topping this. You're never topping that.
This is my favorite Tam Nakano outfit ever. It was like she was literally about to get married out there, like when she came out for her entrance.
Yes. Now, Rich, so she has said this in interviews in the past that, because, you know, Tam
married
does,
to the game.
Right. Married to the game, and also she has done this for, a big part of Tam's domestic fandom is like the geeks that love her, right? Like she's kind of like imagine if like Liv Morgan or AJ Lee or Alexa Bliss were like one of the best wrestlers of her era. Like imagine that was the case.
According to some, they are.
Yeah, but they're delusional. So she has a group of marks, right? And she does the waifu stuff where it's like, it's hard to explain. I don't know if I should even get into it. But basically she has talked about how like she wanted to run a ceremony where she gets married. I think she at Budokan Hall at some large venue or whatever else. So she comes down to the ring and she has like the wedding veil and everything, and like it's the white gear, and she has like the long train. And I'm just like, wow. She actually, from this interview that she has mentioned this silly ass thing, she has like literally attached that to this intro. I was like, this is her last match. I've heard when all this stuff happened with all the wacky shit they were doing and it lead to this match where it's like, they just had a match where she leaves Stardom and then she gets another match in Stardom to get the belt back potentially. I was like, who knows what rules they may come up with. We all thought that they were going to do the thing where like one of them loses and then Sayaka, who won the Cinderella tournament, was going to use her Cinderella tournament wish to wish them back for the rule to be X'd out. Once she came down, once she came down with that marriage shit on, with that bride shit on, I was like, oh, this is it. This is her last match. She's done. So,
bro, and then Saya Kamatani entrance, aura for aura for aura for aura, like
best interest in pro wrestling,
bro. Like that gave me the same as when I saw Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher on the cages standing up again while Elevator was playing. It gave me the same feeling.
Rich, they had to climb a cage for that, brother. All she did was walk out.
Yep.
She wins. So I don't know if you ever really seen her entrance on one of the big shows. Maybe you saw it during the Grand Queendom match they had, but like ever since she turned, but really her first big entrance in a big venue was the Grand Prix final against Micah. And she came out, she had the entrance, she had the flag and the black stuff, and it was awesome. I was like, bro, this is an incredible entrance. We'll just have to see where she ends up as far as like how she makes the matches work as a heel. And Miles varied on that. She's gotten better. She keeps getting better at this. But the entrance is there since day one. The entrance, music, everything. She comes out. It is as good as any WrestleMania entrance you saw at WrestleMania the week before. And it's not a bunch of pyro. It's just some fire. But it's just her and her look and the gear and the robe and everything. It looks top of the line. She looks like $1 million. And all she is just she looks like the queen of the netherworld. She looks like she runs hell. It's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. And I've always loved the symbolism of, like, I think I mentioned this when she turned on and when she betrayed and blew up Queen's Quest or whatever. I was like, when she screwed Micah. I was like, she screwed Micah and she was out here basically carrying this flag on her own for Queen's Quest after they broke up Queen's Quest. And then like she starts literally carrying her own flag by her own that says Phoenix Queen on it. I love the symbol. I love everything about her entrance. Love it. Just love it. It's the best thing going right now as far as entrance. I'm sorry. So, they had her match and it's just, it turns to a slugfest in the middle of the match. Now this whole thing comes down to, for me, this is like the most emotional match in Stardom since like the Arisa and Tam match back on them years ago, where it's like there's a conflict,
That's
and
funny,
eventually
'cause
this
I thought
person.
of that too.
Say again.
I thought of Arisa during this match.
Yeah, like there's this conflict between these two, and it's heated. And ultimately, like, you find out that the person, like, one of them actually starts realizing, like, yeah, man, I actually really respect you and love you, and I've been handling this shit all the wrong way. Like, Kamatani, she does in post-match, she was like, because she's a heel, she's doing the Jay White thing of, like, I fail, and I'm blaming everybody else but myself, right? Queen's Quest blows up, it's Tam Nakano's fault. And at least her logic makes more sense, it's more than childish shit. It's like, hey, you brought me into this, I didn't know I was going to go through all this heartbreak of, like, people like Utami leaving me and everything. I felt deserted and whatever else. Like, if you never brought me into this world, you know, that sort of thing, like, I never had to experience all this pain. I hate you. So they're wrestling through this match, and, like, a lot of this stuff when it comes to how, you know, it's kind of like a motherly thing with Tam and mother-child thing, or older sister, younger sister thing with Kamatani and Tam, is like, Tam, a lot of this stuff has been like, I can't believe you turned out like this. What the fuck is wrong with you? And then Kamatani's like, this is your fault. You're the adult here. You were supposed to be the one to protect me. You didn't protect me. And I felt all these things I was supposed to feel. And now I'm acting, you know, and now I'm out here, you know, being a delinquent, you know, being a terrorist. So as this match is going on, you start seeing, like, Kamatani starts realizing, like, I'm going to beat her. I don't want to retire her. I love her. And now I'm realizing, like, all this stuff I've done to her, and I'm regretful, and then, like, but I gotta win. So, like, at the end of it, like, she beats her with, this match is fucking incredible.
He pulls her up. She has her dead to rights with, I forgot what move it was, pulls her up out of the count or whatever. And then Tam basically, like, looks at her like, finish me, bitch. Like, essentially, like, and then, you know, whatever. It was very ripped in this. It had some touches of, like, the Micah and Himeka match 2 years ago in here. Whereas, like, Micah had her beat, but, like, basically kept hitting her with the move, hoping she would kick out and come back because she didn't want it to end. That was the ref froze before he counted 3. Yep. Or whatever. Yep. And I don't know if you ever noticed this, but basically every single match that Tam's been in is started for years now. You know, there's basically 3 refs. There is Barb, basically the high-speed ref. There is Daichi, the main event ref. And then there is what I call Lil Daichi, who's like looks like Daichi. I don't know if they're related, but he looks like Daichi's young son. Right? And you know, Daichi was an All Japan women's ref. So, you know, he's notorious for his classic super slow count, or not slow count, but like that 1, 2, and then like he waits till you're beat. He doesn't count at 3. He counts base like 3.2, right? Like, he has a great near fall count. And when he hit 1 and 2, and he's like, it's like, I forget, even his cadence where it's like the slow thing where it's like, he's like, I really don't want to retire her. Fuck it. 3. She's done. And from there you get the promo where they basically talk back and forth in, I was going to say, before you do it. Go ahead. I was going to say, before you say that, we get into the post match. I just want to talk about kind of narratively what this, like, meant, kind of. Because, like, this was the finishing school for Saya Kamatani. Now, Tam graduated her at every level. Oh, you a young girl? Nah, you gonna make a decision of where you about to go. Oh, you want to win a belt? You gonna win the white belt from me. I'll explain that. What Rich means by that is Saya was Tam's rookie. When Tam was basically a mid-carder in Stardom in 2019, she was running an idol group before the shows in Stardom where they send women or idols out to dance before the shows would start. And it was basically like a sneaky get people in that idols in and try to train them to wrestle. Saya ended up being one of the people that made it. And when she debuted, quickly after she debuted, Tam took her with her and put her basically unilaterally, while being the number 2 in Stars, added her to Stars without Mayu's permission. Just said, you're in Stars, they're in Stars. They were tagged together, they're doing a dance, all these dances together and tagging. And then she finally got a future belt shot versus Utami. It was a really good match where she ended up losing. And then at the end, Utami says, I want you to, you know, be
my right. I want you to be with me in Queen's Quest. And she tells Tam, you did so much for me, but like, I think I should take this opportunity. And Tam says, all right,
I gotta be with some folks amongst my age, essentially. I gotta be with my generation.
Right. And then Tam says, okay, if that's your choice, I can't do everything for you, but that's your choice. Go ahead. And then, go ahead, Rich.
Yeah, I was gonna say she graduated her at every level. Now, like, you want to win a singles belt, all right. The entire white belt reign is gonna lead to you, and then you're gonna learn how to do that from me. You want to win the red belt? Oh, that's also gonna come from me too. Mm-hmm. And now this match right here is: do you want to be the ace?
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you how to be that. So this was 3 levels of this shit, and now Saya Kamatani is the ace of this company now.
Yeah.
And this was 5 stars. Go out of your way to see this. One of the best matches of the year. And I think that, like, I enjoyed rooting against Tam Nakano a lot, just for the bit in a lot of cases or whatever. But man, just like, you look at these rivalries and like these big matches that she got put into, they're just some of the best stuff that I think people have ever put together in wrestling. Like, and just like, she was great to be on the other side of, like, just because like whoever she was with were people I liked, essentially, was whether it was Kamatani, whether it was Arisa from day one or whatever, whether it was Julia or whatever. Like, so it was just like she was always on the other side. So I'll miss her.
That's the nicest thing you ever said about one of my favorite wrestlers on this show, Rich. Thank you. I appreciate it.
It only we can pack her the fuck up.
It only took you 6 years for her to have all these matches with all your favorite wrestlers for you to realize that she was a common denominator in all of it. Now, I gave this match 5 stars.
Vilkish. Pulled up for that L. Vilkish.
Yeah. Now I gave this match 5 stars. This is the first match I've ever given Tam Nakano match 5 stars. I've given her 3 or 4, 4 3/4. This one gets all the way over. I think that, as Rich mentioned, like, the long form storytelling of this is just, this is 6 years in the making, basically, or almost 6 years in the making. Outside of maybe, I don't know, Rich, outside of maybe Kenny Omega and Hangman Page, and even then, I think Tam did more. I don't think I've ever seen one star wrestler say, I will leverage everything in my star power as I'm rising from mid-card to top star, or one of the top stars, to make sure that the future will be my hand-picked protege.
Like Tanahashi and Okada, but I'm with you.
Okay. I mean, you that's definitely one of them. But the part, as you mentioned, throughout this whole thing over 5 years, this woman, I think Tam Nakano has beaten Saya Kamatani in 2 singles matches ever. I think 2 ever. And the first one was like a month in when she was a rookie wearing that green skirt. So yeah,
in the dance.
She is fine. Look, I think it's one of the great, like, I see something in someone, they have the drive to become that, and I'm gonna do everything in my power to empower them to become that person. And I mean, but like, it ain't just
make some damn money with them too.
Yeah, it ain't just Tam. It's Utami also, right? But those two, going back to, that, I think it's February 2020, because for the pandemic, like, the go-to, like, these two are the fork and roll moment for her to decide, and both of them, Utami and Kamatani, through the Aphrodite tag team, to that cage match from a couple years ago, and all the stuff we mentioned with Tam, and also the Budokan Hall Summer event, all that stuff was, we are going to make sure this one, she's gonna make it. And yeah, it's one of those things where you look up and realize, like, was the last 5 years, even with the Tam and Julia stuff, the Shiryu Tommy stuff, the Mayu title reign, did we just miss it? Like, you look up and all of a sudden, like, yo, she's the ace now. And it was kind of just always there for her to become this. We never really saw it until now because, Tommy's in Marigold, Julia's in Marigold / NXT, WWE, Tam's retiring, Mayu is leaving. Now it's like, even if these people were still around, this was going to happen. This was always going to happen. She was always going to be her and Utami were supposed to be the two bridge people to get to the golden generation or whatever else, to get to the Starlight Kids and the Zoomies and whatever else. But like, it's just now, and they were going to have their feud, but it didn't happen. But now it's like, all right, well, Tommy's gone. It's just you now. There is no co-ace thing. You're the ace. And like over the year from, the title change in December to the February, the early March Crooked Hall match to this is like, they have beaten you over the head. Saya Kamatani is now the one. She's the ace. It is what it is. And look, it's great. Kamatani gets 5 stars. Tam Nakano gets 5 stars. Dave Meltzer finna give Tam Nakano a 3rd, 5th star match in like 3 months. Tam Nakano is finna turn Dave Meltzer to a feminist, Rich.
Hey, are you gonna write the Hall of Fame case
for Tam Nakano?
I don't see nobody else that should.
I will say this. I will help JD with it or whatever else. But I'm pretty sure one of us two gonna write it. You go through these attendances. She main evented both Yokohama Arena shows. Both were 5,000. Both based on her main eventing. The Budokan Hall show, she main evented that as well. I think the Grand Prix, the highest attended Grand Prix that her and Julia, and everyone knew that was going into, that was going to be the final. She obviously main evented that. I think like the four or 5 of them, I forgot, Pepsi Wrestling tweeted out, was like, she's in the main event of like 4 of the 5 are all 5 of the biggest drawing events in Stardom history. I don't know, obviously she was always one of the highest merch sellers in the company, always one of the most popular. Cosmic Angels always winning in the fan vote stuff, whatever else. I don't know how much material stuff that does. I don't want to turn into people, talking about merch sales in that kind of way when it comes to Japan, because I don't know the numbers, but like, if there's anybody that has a shot out of Stardom, right now, I would say it would be Mayu, Watani, or her. I don't think Mayu's going to get it because when Stardom blew up, she was a main eventer, but she wasn't a top star. Tam's been the top star the past 5 years or 4 years. So, I don't know what kind of case she really has or whatever else, but I mean, if we are here putting, some of the stuff we've seen for why people should get in, I mean, she moved 2,000 tickets basically. In theory, her retirement moved 2,000 tickets. So,
right.
And then,
and before people, see this clip and think you're crazy, scale the promotion. And then multiply that shit.
Because you also have to adjust for size of the country, size of the region, and all that kind of stuff. Like the stuff for like why people would get observer candidacy in like work in Memphis was because of per capita stuff. Well, when you adjust for Japan versus America, number 2 promotion in the company or in the country, 7,500 tickets. That's a lot of tickets. It's a lot of tickets. Like, also account for,
you probably just use percentages and then figure it out. Be like, oh, this person popped a 25% increase. Like, if we throw you on a show, like under your step, that stuff, Kamatani, top star, as I always, kind of called that she would be one day.
Yep. I also want to point this out when we get to before we get to this, right? If it were me, I would tell a slow burner her turn babyface away from hate right now. I would do it over the span of this, given like what the babyface heel dynamic of the roster is looking, the opponent she has.
Yep. Looks like James muted. He is just fixing this real quick. If you're hearing this, get your merch. But yeah, a lot of comments in the crowd or in the chat saying the best thing for Saya's career was Utami leaving. James is still muted if you're trying to talk to me. Zach Mike says, since the EO match, Utami has plateaued and looks checked out. That is the common sentiment. I don't hear much buzz about her anymore. And Word Starwin says, Baron Von Raschke, Utami was clearly outclassed in that match. Zach Maki says, I know a friend that went to Wrestle Kingdom when her and Kyrie had their match. They said Tam's merch sold quick. And Word Starwin also says that Saya babyface ace run can be very special. Yeah, man. The reason that I like Saya Kamatani so much as a babyface, and I kind of took it hard when she turned, and I was just like, I was upset about it because like she always had like this earnest kind of like dopey, nerdy kind of aesthetic to her or whatever. But it was like really engaging. I thought she was a hero, like underneath all that. And then, they did the switch and all that. And, people have liked it. They've rebirthed a unit around her. And she's, she proved me wrong at least. But I think, at the end of the day, she's going to be a killer babyface the day they flip her. So I'll probably be right in the end too. So James, are you back? I cannot hear you, sir. So I will keep, talking. But it's getting brought up in the comments. Velka is saying she's still earnest even as a heel. It's interesting. Yeah, she'll cry on a dime. She definitely still wears her emotions on her sleeve. You can tell in the press conferences. You can also look how she wrestles this match against Tam Nakano. There is something repressed inside this woman. So it is a hell of a story, even in an isolated setting. I think even if you didn't have all the lore behind all of this and have the years of backstory, you could drop in, look at the person coming out looking like they're ready to get married, and then the other one looking like they worship in the group that worships or leading the group that worships the devil. You can take it like that, and then you can clearly figure out the rest. Between the bells, what these people mean to each other, what it really almost isn't even about the championship. It's about each other. So, and it's a career versus career match. So I think they did a good job dropping seeds of doubt there. I thought that there was a chance Saya Kamatani could retire because this is Joshi. Nothing is taken for granted as far as like who's going to be available, who's going to wrap it up early. I'll never forget seeing the news. Yeah, man, Arissa's just never coming back. She's just been zapped into the Phantom Zone. So I don't know, man. I think that this is success all around. 7,500 plus tickets, and really a show that I think if you have not watched Stardom or anything, or it's been a while, there's another perfect place to jump in with this show. These shows don't come all the time. Sometimes it's like, oh man, I'm in the middle of this tour. I quite don't know what's happening. Stuff like that. I think James is on the way back. Yes, he
hear
is.
Me?
I can hear you now, sir.
Okay.
No worry. I kept it going like a true pro. So
yeah, I see that. What happened was I accidentally unplugged, because I have the USB wire next to my hand. So I actually unplugged it, and then once it unplugged, it's like, oh, nope, shit also stops everything stopped recording. Oh, wow. And then so I had to stop the podcast and shut it down. So I had to grab the audio and fix that part and re-record everything. But let me press and record again. It just fit back right. But yeah, I had to had to turn everything off. I had to save the shit. turn or X out, had to refresh on the Discord and then come back in. So yeah, as you mentioned, I heard you say basically everything about like you liked, a big part of why, you were down on Stardom was like they turned her heel and she had this quality. And you mentioned this when it happened. When we had that one clip from the summer where it was like, what the hell are they doing? We were just, they had a plan. It didn't seem like it at the time. But yeah, like, I think that, like, given the way this match went, I think the smart thing would be like to turn her babyface, like, slowly and get her away from hate. Because like, you look at the Bret Hart thing of like, all right, no Tam, Micah's off the table for a while. Mayu's gone. Who's she going to face? And it's like, all right, she's a heel. Those would be the top babyface for her to face. She did that with Tam to death. So you have to go back to Micah. Micah's gone. Mayu's gone. So who's she going to face in these big shows? It's like Starlight Kid is, and I think that for the future, like Starlight Kid and Kamatani is a huge thing because those are two biggest merch movers now. And like they had their white belt stuff, right, from a couple years ago. So it's like, all right, you can get to that, but right now she's the white belt champion, so that's down the line. So who's she going to face? Shuri has the IWGP Women's title. And I think like people like Suzuki. Say again?
Momo Watanabe.
Right. Momo makes sense. Suzu makes sense, even though it already happened. But you actually build a program towards it now. There's maybe more of a grudge. Like I think turning her babyface would make the most sense over time. Obviously not immediately, but like when you end the match by beating Tam with her own move, the Twilight Dream is like, oh, it's kind of similar to the Angel Wings thing with Hangman. Like that's gonna be her move now. So it's like, all right, if the storyline was you went through all this stuff trying to find yourself as a way to cope with, Utami leaving, and then you had this match with Tam, and ultimately you realize like Tam always loved you and you loved her and you just didn't appreciate it at the time because you were so angry about how the stuff went, and now like you kind of regret retiring her. Is like, well, this is the path towards fixing some of this. Is like you see the error of your ways and you try to make it right. Now that, what's happened. You can't change that, but, find the path forward. So like, it's interesting, like, with Kamatani, it was like, when she was a white belt champion, it was basically this match is hot match. The storylines were really there. And then like the last 2 years with her, like she's absolutely become one of the better storytellers in pro wrestling. With her and Tommy and her match stuff. She is definitely, as you mentioned, the graduation thing is definitely a part of it. Yeah, I think,
like you give it another year or so, people be ready to die for Sai Kamatani. It's coming.
Look, we already,
if not here already.
Me and you were both like, hey man, she's gonna be, after she lost that white belt, we were like, yo, she's gonna be a red belt champion in no time. We both said that. And it's here, and it's better, it's working better than we ever thought it would. So, yeah.
Big comment from Niagara Driver says, wow, when you consider Sai was basically entrusted with the legacies of Queen's Quest, Odayo Tai, and now Tam. They have served this all to her. That's a great point.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they completely packed up that Oedo Tai shit and made it hate, and it look, the way that hate merch moves is crazy. It moves. That Oedo Tai shit, when it was purple, it was not moving. That hate moves.
It's easy to sell some hate.
Remember I told you, like, I want to buy a hate shirt so bad, but I can't wear it nowhere. Where else am I wear that shit? Like,
they'll be asking if you think every election is free and fair.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, also, so they put out remember the Queen Phoenix shirt?
Yeah.
They put it out on sale again and it sold out. A second printing sold out. They came out with a second Kamatani shirt. That shit's almost sold out or already has sold out. Like, all this Tam and Kamatani and Starlight Kid merch was moving off the shelves in the last few months. So, they just sold 2,000 more tickets than they ever have for any other show. They on fire right now. And them Corkin halls are selling out all the time.
Yeah. So I guess I have to wrap up Stardom and all that. I had some other stuff on here. We're going to kind of try to speed run through some of this stuff. It is getting kind of late, but I do want to talk about OutKast real quick. Getting announced and going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame does induct rappers. This is not a new thing. This is kind of just, something that's happened for years and years and years at this point. Yeah. James grew up on OutKast a lot more than I did. I never even heard of OutKast until Rosa Parks came out. And I was like living in California at the time. And everything I really ever knew about OutKast or learned about OutKast was through retrospect, pretty much, as far as their early work. And it's like they earn I was like, I had this thought today when I was thinking about this. I was like, imagine if people actually wanted to hear what they had to say, like in real time. And they were getting 5 mics from the source and all that too. Like they were getting props, but like some of it was just getting passed by. Like Andre didn't get up at the Source Awards and say the South got something to say for no reason. Like there was clearly excellence within them, and I think eventually people like they sweetened up the music a little bit. Like they put out the more commercial stuff. But man, if you ever just want to hear niggas rap, niggas come out there and just talk that talk. Like I love listening to OutKast. Like I'll pull up Aquemini in a heartbeat. I'll pull up Ain't No Thing But a Chicken Wing in a heartbeat. I just want to hear niggas go. Like I'll listen to Mighty O or any of these Andre 3000 feature verses and all that. And I think it's important to not disconnect OutKast from being OutKast. Not just like there's Andre and then this other guy in the group with him. Like, nah. Like,
people do that.
You gotta put them together.
Yeah, and I think also people, because of that they recognize that people are doing that. They also overdo it. Like, this isn't necessarily like Bun B and Pimp C, where like Pimp C was probably the better rapper early on, and then Bun B went to a level where it's like, no, just technically, Bun B is a great rapper, and Pimp C is a game spitter. They're not necessarily the same. They're not necessarily doing the same things. But if you were to say that, if you wanted to classify them as rap, then like, nah, you cannot say that Pimp C is a better rapper than Bun B. Big Boy is a great rapper and also put together bodies of work as a solo artist that Andre 3000 never has. But at the same time, when it just comes to talent and emceeing and wit, like, Andre is at a level that few people have ever been in the rap game. And it's okay to admit that. I think people have got to the thing where, like, because he did, the non-rap songs that they think they try to treat him like he's some special Negro. Is like, nah, he just like other shit besides just rap sometimes. So people overdo it, and people are aware of like, we see what you're doing when it comes to Andre, so knock it off. But yeah, as a duo, like, quite frankly, like, a lot of the stuff that ended up going was a lot more of Andre rapping over stuff that Big Boy wanted to rap over. And then when they're doing the Earth Tone stuff as a production group, like, they were really good. And then you throw in Organized Noise and you just had like the collective stuff together with all the Goody Mob and, Dungeon Family stuff. Is like, this was a really talented collective of basically like, niggas from East and South Atlanta coming together to dress like they fucking Earth, Wind and Fire in the 90s. It's really weird. Like, the Afrofuturism out of Atlanta, you never really think about it, but then it's like, oh, what did rap come from? Africa Bambaataa in Atlanta. And it's like, oh, once you realize that, it's like, oh, okay, that's why they did that. The Afrofuturism stuff.
Like Planet Rock, yeah.
Yeah, Planet Rock. So yeah, so for me, it's like, as you mentioned, Mighty O is incredible. The art of storytelling. If you want to look, if you also want to see niggas just rap their ass off, I mean, there's Humble Mumble off Stank On You, where they're like 2 different beats, but like, I think Big Boy's fucking killed it, and it's like, he's killer. And then Andre, whole new beat, and then like he also kills it too. It's just they together, they were one of the more of the rap groups that were in the 90s and 2000s, I think they were more willing to try shit and see where it went. They're okay with their sound sounding different from album to album. And I think they were okay with their subject matter at times changing, and growing and being more mature with the audience. I think their stuff aged really well. Like, I'll listen to, I have a playlist of like songs on here, and something will pop up off of AT Aliens. I'm just like, I didn't understand what they were talking about when I was 10.
Yeah.
I get this now. Like every time like Spotty Yodi Dope Delicious comes on, and I'm just like, and they go to Big Boy's part talking about like, you meet somebody, and who knew over the next 2 years you'd be bringing a family and starting to raise somebody, and then just talking about how like, yeah, like you're trying to get a job to support your family, and it's like, hey, UPS in the post office saying like, hey, you got cloudy piss, so now you in a trap. Just that, trapped. Marinate on that. Like, I think that a lot of the Big Boy misogyny stuff is like, yeah, he had to, he dealt with a really bad situation early on, and it made him bitter, in a way. But like, he's in his mind, he's giving you game on how to deal with some of this stuff, from Mick Jackson to like his part of Mick Jackson is like, you compare it to Andre's thing, is like they're totally different. Like that's the thing. That's part I liked about Andre and them together is like they can have a song that conceptually works, but it's from different angles of the same thing. Like for Miss Jackson to be, hey, I'm going through this baby mama drama with hey, they whole family trying to send niggas to jump me or whatever else. I'm just trying to be a good dad, and they trying to kill me or beat me over the head with child support stuff, whatever else. And then Andre on the other side is like, I had a relationship with your daughter, and we thought it was gonna work out great. It didn't, but it was worth it, and I'm sorry it didn't work out. That's the same song. That's a really hard needle thread between those two, and they made it work. And that's like throughout all these different things, like all the art of storytellings, like they were just like one of those. They're peanut butter and jelly, whereas like or some or chocolate peanut butter, like some odd pairing that you not necessarily think like would work, but they just did. And their and ultimately like their music sensibilities overcame whatever their lifestyle sensibilities were. Because ultimately they came from the same high school or whatever else, but they just had different outlooks on life, but the music kept them together and they diverged, right? But ultimately, like, these are two great rappers, and they both knew how to find like unique, awesome beats, and they rapped over a lot of them, and they killed it. And like, they're my favorite rap group ever. I think they're one of the most talented, unique acts in the history of music. Forget just rap. And the Hall of Fame stuff for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, like, people have this thing about
we didn't need them necessarily to let them in that institution, but like
they fit the mold. They fit the mold. Like once you get out of the bracketing of black music versus white music and focus on what hip hop is, or what rock and roll really is, which is basically popular music, like in the last 60 years. Yeah, they deserve to be in there. Like they have these different sounds or different eras of their albums. They were together. They made great music. They made great singles. They sold a shit ton of records, and they forgot
about that part.
Yeah, that shit went diamond.
Yeah, rare.
Speaker box level went diamond. Yeah, that's nuts.
That's nuts. Yeah.
Do you even know what the last diamond album was?
Last diamond rap album or album period? Chat, help us out. Find the last diamond selling music album. Is it one of these Taylor Swift albums?
Adele 25.
Adele, okay.
That's the one that had Hello on it.
Got you.
So that's been like a decade.
And a depressing song. I mean, that kind of describes a lot of her stuff, but never mind, Adele. Don't want to say that too loud. But yeah, man, like just like you can just hear how Andre 3000 comes on a song in particularly, right? And you just never know what it's going to be. He could just be like, just literally talking about, yeah, I went through this the other day, and then and just like, hold on, bro, like how'd you tie all this like together? And then I think Mighty O is just like one of my favorite songs of theirs. It's just like, it's a showcase.
That beat's incredible.
Yeah. But yeah, man, yeah, they're just really dope.
Rich.
We're really dope for a long time.
Rich, do you remember what album that's on?
Idlewild.
That's on.
And I like the Idlewild movie.
That's on the soundtrack. Yeah, that's on the soundtrack album.
Yeah.
That's the last album we got from them.
Right. They disappeared like kind of without no real farewell or anything like that. It's just like they gave us what they gave us. So
yeah. And Andre, like, he only wants to do verses. He does not want to, like, people keep asking him. He's like, he been saying, even when in the Fluke thing last year or 2 years ago, he's like, I don't want to do this. I'm too old to be rapping. People were like, nah, you need to stop listening to yourself and just make something for us. It's like, hey man, that's not how this works.
Yeah. I don't know. I think people are asking him to inspire them in the way that he always has or whatever. If he ain't got nothing to rap about, I get it.
Right.
It's
right.
Don't want to force it. And you got a large reputation to live up to. You got immense amount of pressure. Just blow the flute.
Stupid, blow the flute. But yeah, man. I mean, it's appropriate that they're in, and like that's the thing. Like when every time they've added somebody from the rap world to these things, I'm like, oh, they're appropriate. Like,
right. Ain't nobody getting in that's just sorry. That's just like, all right, man, we ain't really, yeah.
But I mean, also it just fits the aesthetic of like what rock and roll is. It's just like once you get rid of the segregation of between white and black music, and you be like, what is rock and roll? And you be like, is Missy Elliott rock and roll? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is it like LL Cool J? Yeah. That motherfucker was a rock star. OutKast were rock stars.
Is hard as hell.
Exactly. So, I just wanted to, so, it's really cool. And like, when is the date? Hold on.
Hell of an AEW Dynamite this past week. Don't want to review the whole show. James is looking something up right now, but that opening segment with all those big heroes and stars in it, with the Bucks, Okada, everybody. Gut.
My point is gonna be October or Halloween this year, 25th anniversary of Stankonia.
Oh wow.
That's all.
Look at that.
On to Dynamite.
Yeah, I was saying, I really liked the show this week. Just great matches all over the place. Good promos. They continue to roll on. Like, I don't want to do a full review of the whole show, but like they're firing right now. Like,
they have their plan. You can tell they have their plan for what they're going to do with all the, with the Anarchy in the Arena and the Blood and Guts. You can tell they're already gearing up. You always feel it when they have it, that they have their match set for this stuff for the summer. It seems like we're heading there. Yeah.
Master P there. Always good to see Master P. Hilarious punches from him. I would have loved it.
Master P's punches in AEW or Rick Ross's punches in AEW.
Oh man, I don't even remember Ross's, but
it was a backstage deal when he makes all the noises when he threw the punches. Oh no, it was the knee. I'm sorry, when the punch was the knee.
The knee is funnier. The knee is funnier for sure. The Arena Mexico show for AEW selling out or selling very well, one of the two. Okay. People are not thrilled about it, but I do want to talk about the Rock, because anything AEW does that's an achievement, they're not thrilled at. wrote about.
Why would they care? Why would they care? Why did they? They don't care about nothing else. They'll never care about nothing that happens in Mexico. Why would they care now?
Oh no.
Okay.
For the last thing I want to talk about tonight is The Rock and Triple H. About a year ago on this show, maybe 11 months ago, we did a segment called The Most Under-Discussed Story in Pro Wrestling. And it was the power struggle that's going on between Dwayne Johnson, Paul Levesque, and all the various parties surrounding them. This was in light of that WrestleMania DVD, or WrestleMania, not DVD, documentary being delayed. And, you know, one would think they were trying to find a way to spin the bullshit, and, you know, that's why it took so long. This year it's came back almost not even almost. It's starting to spill over into the public, with Triple H being even more front facing than normal. Dwayne Johnson popping into storylines, completely disappearing for, after Elimination Chamber. You saw him appear on Pat McAfee the day after One Nation Radio. I was furious last week that we didn't get to do it the same day, but he's essentially on there basically calling Triple H out to the carpet, saying Ari Emanuel is calling me when tickets need to be sold. The tickets were not selling for Elimination Chamber. He did his angle and basically handed it off to Triple H and Cody and John Cena, and they knew that he was not going to be in attendance for WrestleMania. They never did anything to quell that. They never addressed it or whatever. They just kind of strung people along. Cody and Cena had a flat WrestleMania bill with a gigantic elephant in the room missing, which was The Rock. The Rock did tell them he wasn't going to be there, but it definitely led to a lot of people basically like Triple H getting his story out in this upcoming Netflix thing. We know The Observer last week, and the one that's coming up is probably going to be one to see as far as like the whoever Paul Levesque is getting his story to. But also, I
mean, do you see
Dave is kind of close to The Rock?
Yeah,
so
do you see that clip with Meltzer and Alvarez from this week where like Alvarez is like, bro, this makes no sense on Rock's behalf, and Meltzer speak is like you can tell he knows something, but he's not telling us.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Rock is actually like Dave's guy from back years ago. Right. And it's all really funny to see them, The Rock basically wash his hands of the WrestleMania stuff, not promote it at all. The war between The Rock and Triple H is happening. It's like Triple H is kind of setting up Rock to be the new Vince now. So basically, something goes wrong, you blame it on Vince. Now you blame it on Dwayne Johnson. Now, in The Rock's defense, it's like if Rock gave clear instructions, Rock does have a boss in the area manual. So like when he calls him, he's got to try to make something shake. It's just the whole thing with the disruptor. I don't know how that put anything over. His logic was like, I guess I handed y'all off this thing and y'all got to do something with it. But I think he made himself such a big part of it. This is why people were disappointed. I kind of look at Triple H and Rock as the same guy in a different packaging, and they largely have the same, look at how they want to be. They want to be perceived as heroes by the people that are watching this thing, and not necessarily the good guy in a storyline or anything. They want to be the saviors of this thing, and I think that the more this goes on, because Triple H just works there, Rock's on the board. It's like, if he ever gets really bad, Rock can just fire Triple H, but obviously you don't want to fire Triple H because Triple H has, an army of people, like, as far as, like, the fans, like, the stuff he's building, people will, like, jump in front of a bus for Triple H or whatever. So you'll probably lose the fans if you do that, but he would just install Brian Gewirtz and it would be fine. But if you can avoid that, I think you avoid that as much as possible to give the one big happy family thing. But I think there have been a number of circumstances this week on McAfee being the culmination. This is not one big happy family. Oh, and did I mention the whole thing of him wanting to turn Cody Rhodes, which was like, hey, we can't allow you to do this. But The Rock not getting what he wants. The Rock pinned that man. The Rock is never giving that back. Don't have to now. Right. He's not the champ no more.
Right.
So like there's a lot of stuff in each direction, and by default I don't rock with Triple H usually, but I'm like, I don't know how you can look at this situation and clearly be like, this one guy's the problem or that one guy's the problem. They are working together to like
fuck it up,
give a tug of war or whatever this shit is.
Yeah. And
Rock can never, neither of these guys can bury each other in public, but what they do is these like these public burials that people don't recognize that they're burials or whatever. They know it. They're speaking a language in front of people. They're speaking in Morse. They might as well be speaking in Morse code the way these people don't get it.
Oh, you mean when Rock said that like I showed up to Elimination Chamber because ticket sales were down, and that wasn't even true? That wasn't even true. Someone came back and was like, nah, this shit was selling. You made this up out of thin air, Rock.
Look at that.
But no one's going to check it. But we didn't find out until after that clip was already out. Like, McAfee's not going to be the person to push back on him with that. He's going to lay out and let Rock say what he got to say.
Correct. And they're doing this in state media or whatever, which is that Pat McAfee show. Like, so The Rock's going on this tour. Is the thing that now, Triple H would never do this because obviously it would go against the WWE ethos, is he should call and be like, can I go on Wrestling Observer Radio and talk about this shit and crack it open? But he's a coward and he'll never do that shit.
As you mentioned, he just works there.
Yeah, he just works there. I don't know, man. It's something else to watch. And I think, look, man, like the Triple H booking is coming under a lot of fire that it has
rightfully so.
Like, yes, and looking at this Backlash card that's coming up, brother, they might need to call the final boss again.
All I saw was Randy.
I don't know.
Randy Moss. All I saw was John Cena versus Randy Orton in 2025.
I got a couple more for you, Jans. Are you sitting down?
Yeah.
So we got Walter versus Pat McAfee.
Should I stand up now?
We got Logan Paul versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship.
So should we root for Logan Paul to be the champion because he'd be a better champion than Jey Uso?
What an amazing question. Let's leave it there. Doesn't require an answer.
Okay.
But when you saw this Rock stuff drop last week, like, what did you think of all this? Because I know me, I was like,
okay. So I saw it and I was like, well, this reminds me of like the stuff that was happening when it, the Black Adam shit was going bad. That you weren't that aware of, but I was like, yeah, this shit going bad, and he's, he doesn't know he hasn't figured out how to take a L in public yet and move on. Like, all these successful people have made bombs and then move on from it. But like, it's a thing where like, he's bad at it. Like, it happened with Fast and Furious. It feels like they stopped making them shits because of the Rock stuff with the spinoff thing, and it pissed off so much of the other cast. Right? So there's that. There is Black Adam bombing out and how he didn't handle that well. And now you have this, and it's like, this is like, I don't want to say his last chance because he still makes movies, but it's like, this is the last thing you have to go back to when shit goes bad. Like, this kind of like the block got hot for you, and like you went back to home base, when you do this stuff, and now it's like you starting to piss off the home base.
Yep. Like, and that's like, the thing is, it's like the fans, they may be misguided in like how much they're trying to blame The Rock, but their feelings are not wrong. Like, as far as like,
right.
Hey, we feel that you are this interloper now. It's been a long time since The Rock is like really factored into WWE. Like, he just kind of drops out of the sky, does his thing or whatever. A lot of, fans appreciate it, but then other people are like, I just don't get it. What is Dwayne Johnson doing here? And they just
he's so
don't
detached from being a wrestler that it feels like he's not a wrestler anymore. He's he's a celebrity. Like he's Travis Scott with muscles.
Yeah. So it's like, they fucking hate that guy. But like, this guy's one of the most important guys in the history of the business. So it's like, you can't dismiss him like that. Like a lot of them would like to do. But I understand the frustration, like, because I don't watch WWE as a WWE fan. Like, I find all this hilarious. But if you were like into whatever's going on, you feel kind of cheated from this whole storyline, and you should feel like I feel like they should feel as passionately about everything that doesn't have to do with The Rock as they should do with The Rock. It's not like if you took The Rock shit to the side that everything was on the up and up at WrestleMania.
No. And that's why it's so nasty, because it's like, Triple H, you had the keys to this for a year and you put that out at WrestleMania, and then you got handed a bad main event hand or whatever else. But like, don't make no mistake, all this other shit is your fault. So instead of trying to say, oh, people are upset about WrestleMania because, the main event and that's The Rock, so we'll, or whatever. I was like, nah, bruh, night one sucked. Rock wasn't going to be on night one regardless. Like, outside of that main event, you ain't have shit for night one. So let's stop the fucking blame game and look inward, look in that mirror.
Yeah. Yeah, like, stop trying to, talk about what we do, right, and all this other stuff.
And don't be wrong, Rock fucked this up, but Rock fucked the main event. There were 2 shows that weekend. That's my point. Like, they're both fucking up. Triple H's fucking up more because he's responsible for more.
Yeah, and like, both
simple.
of these guys, they've been in WWE, like I said, since the mid '90s. They were largely, Rock came in through his family or whatever. He had his own basically way to navigate the business. Good guy in front of you, really knows the political game, knows how to make people feel good in a room. Triple H has kind of risen to power in a different way or whatever. Regardless of how he did it, he got there or whatever. And if this thing starts breaking up, I just don't know who all the Triple H guys are, except like maybe some of the younger wrestlers. I don't know. Like, as far as like that main event scene, because then Paul Heyman's also there, and he has his own faction of guys, and like, there's nothing I think that Paul Heyman would love more than lucking into running WWE, because it could easily happen.
I didn't even consider that. That's nuts,
bro. Paul Heyman is the guy that controls, like, it's like there's the guy on top. It's like the mafia. Triple H is the guy on top, or Nick Khan's the guy on top. And then to the side, there's something is the consigliere. That's what Paul Heyman is to WWE. He's the consigliere or whatever. So like, he's the person that they lean on or whatever, but he can step in at any time or whatever, like to be in charge of it, and not that fake way he was in charge and back during the pandemic and shit where he was in charge of Raw, but it was still going through that. No, like, he's laying low, I think, until whatever this is blows up. And look, Rock was a Heyman guy. Look, Heyman knows, like, he goes back years with that family. Like, Heyman is going to fuck around and, like, get this shit popping on screen and off screen. I feel like that's my prediction here, but it's going to take a while for it to play out, because like, I don't expect Triple H to like be out of the chair or anything, but it's like, if this thing keeps going the way it's going to go,
someone's going to lose and it ain't going to be The Rock.
Right. There's only one fall guy here.
Right.
So, who's Aaron Manuel going to call? The Rock. Who's Nick Khan going to call? The Rock. So it's like, that's two very powerful votes right there. And Triple H doesn't have a vote. Keep this in mind.
Right. I think that's a good place to leave it.
Yeah. I think it is.
Like, Triple H doing all the work, but there is no way for Triple H to actually win this. And I don't know if he has figured out how to modulate his ego to realize he can't win this battle. I still think he's trying to find a way to win this battle.
No, he's going to try to drop it through Sports Illustrated, through The Observer, through, these Twitter accounts that are whatever. And it's like, I don't know if it's enough, bro.
I don't think Rock's trafficking folk.
Yeah.
So I don't think he'll be able to move like how, Vince got moved out. The
New York Times, they ain't nothing coming towards the Rock direction from a P. Levesque. at gmail.com. Excuse me, AOL.com. You know he old.
Could you imagine? Can you imagine whistleblowing on somebody from your actual name on a Gmail account? Oh my God, that would be so, you idiot.
Oh shit. But yeah, man. Anyway, I hope it all continues to get nastier. It continues to get worse for my entertainment. That's right, my entertainment in this show. So I can say, hey, we got this clip in 2024. We got this one now. And we was ahead. We left y'all niggas in the dust. You know.
Wow.
Hope they lose.
Oh, man. All right, y'all. That's the end of the show. Thanks for listening. If you are watching from the stream, when we upload the show, go to the show notes of the podcast and go to the Red Circle link. You can donate there. And also go to our Chop Tees store and pick up some merch there. And be sure to listen to other shows on the network besides One Nation Radio. You have Keepin It Strong Style, All Things Elite, Wrestling Art with Chris Things, Imps WWE Adventure, AEW Match Guide. I think I said all the things, but I'll say it again. The Trish and Sarah Wrestling Podcast and Tom and Talk. Thanks for listening, y'all. Later.
Fucking fed.
I'm gonna miss you, Tam.